Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Sean, and today we're going to talk about a little bit of street justice that was issued out in the city of New York by a Latino community that was captured on video after a suspect who there had been a manhunt for was accused of doing an absolutely heinous crime to a 13-year-old girl. On top of that, the suspect in this particular instance is a illegal migrant from Ecuador who had repeatedly entered the country without documents. So yes, this is a border-related story, but the most crucial aspect of this to me is the way that the community responded, because they not only got this guy, they not only captured this guy, but they beat his ass. And when you hear his crime, when you hear what he did, you're gonna think he deserved far, far worse. Now, we're gonna get into this, but before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticeword.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
Por live. ¿Dónde tú te vas? ¿Dónde tú te vas? ¿A dónde tú te vas?
Aquí voy a esperar.
Oh, okay. 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 ¿A dónde tú te vas? He a rapist.
So the suspect of the initial crime, who is seen on video cowering between two cars, pleading for safety, is known as Christian Giovanni Ingalandi. He is an illegal migrant from Ecuador, and he got his ass beat at this 108th Street deli, which is a few blocks from the park where the crime initially occurred. Now, you might be asking yourself, what did this man do? What did he do to piss off this many Latinos in this neighborhood for this to occur? And when you hear the crime, you're going to say to yourself, okay, that makes perfect sense. So, this suspect in broad daylight the other day at a local park stumbled across two teenagers aged 13 playing soccer together, a male and a female. He decided that he was going to pull out a machete and order these two teenagers into a secluded area of said park, a very wooded area, so that he could rob him. However, at some point in time, the suspect decided that he wasn't going to just commit a robbery, so instead he took the shoelaces off of these teenagers' shoes, bound their hands together, and proceeded to sexually assault the 13-year-old girl. This triggered an insane manhunt all across Queens, and honestly, I was really worried, even though the description of him was quite detailed, that they might not lead to his capture, because initially it was a struggle for surveillance video. Now, to be clear, he is accused of that crime. He is arrested of that crime, but he has not been convicted, so this is all alleged. But to be even clearer, the description is very detailed, and it seems to all align with this person. So, he was described as a 5'5" Latino person with braces and dark hair and a boar tattoo on his chest.
He's described as a Hispanic man about 5 feet 5 inches tall, in his 20s, with curly hair and braces. Authorities say he has a heavy Spanish accent and a distinctive large tattoo on his chest of a red-eye boar.
You can actually see in the video the boar tattoo located on his chest. The height matches. Again, we had him described as somebody in his 20s. This guy, I believe, is 25 or 23. I don't exactly remember from the article, but point being, everything seems to line up, including the tattoo, the height, the hair color, the braces, and all of that. In fact, people in this neighborhood were so sure, or Jeffrey Flores was so sure that he had seen this guy before, that this attack, this mob justice against him, was actually pre-planned and executed. And I'm going to go to this Post article and read the quote for you so you can hear it, so you can hear the planning that it went into it, and so that you could heap the appropriate level of praise for this community. Because not only did they recognize this guy, but they actually knew a deli that he constantly frequented, and rather than just call in the tip to the police and be done with it, they decided that they were going to camp out in front of said deli and wait for him to show up. Quote, "I've seen him a few times. He comes to the store to buy stuff. Jeffrey Flores, who pounced on the creep. I waited for him. I waited the whole day to see if he would come up. He came at night. He came in, went to buy something. Flores24 told the Post, quote, "I saw what he was trying to do. He looked back at me and I waited for him to come out of the store, then dragged him to the floor and a couple of people helped me." So look, you guys know, even though I have the most Irish name ever, that I'm actually half Hispanic, Puerto Rican to be particular, and one of the things that I do, while I do discuss the problems in different various Hispanic communities, is praise them where they need praise, and this is a perfect example of this. This crime was so heinous, so repugnant, so disgusting to people like Jeffrey Flores, to everyone in this video who crowded around him, that they decided that they were not just going to stand idle, they were going to actually intervene. And in fact, this is reminiscent of a story that we talked about before, where a 19-year-old Latino girl was shot for basically no reason during the course of a robbery of a Burger King, and a bunch of Latinos showed up in order to heckle and threaten the perpetrator after he was caught and he was being perp-walked into the courthouse.
30-year-old Winston Glenn was brought out of the 25th precinct in shackles today, whining about how much they hurt and something as he approached the police car about reparations.
Where's our reparations for 400 years?
But outside the 2-5, a crowd had gathered to greet the man accused of one of the most cold-blooded murders in recent history.
You got me. You got me.
It was an angry crowd. They were not there in his support.
Burn in hell. You gotta burn in hell.
This is one of the unambiguously good parts about Latino and Hispanic culture. The fact that they take these kind of incidents this seriously and they will come out in force in order to oppose it. It reminds me also of during the Black Lives Matter riots, when all these different Dominicans decided that they didn't want their neighborhood to be destroyed, so they all came out in force with baseball bats in order to deter rioters. And there was a lot of mockery from people on the left saying, hey, you know what? Nobody even destroyed their area, so I don't know why people are out with bats, not even realizing that the fact that these people were out with bats was the reason why nobody destroyed their area.
Curo Live. ¿Dónde tú te vas? ¿Dónde tú te vas? ¿A dónde tú te vas?
Aquí voy a esperar.
Oh, okay. 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 ¿Dónde tú te vas? He a rapist. He don't care. He don't care that he hit the third. He right there. He right there. He hiding because we beat the Yeah.
Rapist has
Citizen F, baby. Thank you. Y'all, we did y'all job for you. He's right there. Look at him right there. We beat his ass.
Where my 10,000? Where my 10,000?
We beat his ass. Beat his ass. Beat his ass.
Now look, unfortunately, I have to obscure some of this video because YouTube, even though this guy is accused of an absolutely heinous crime, will say graphic violence, age restricted, you can't show that to your audience, we're gonna suppress it, and this story needs attention. But I am linking a New York Post article. They do have the footage. You could check it out for yourselves. It's about 40 seconds. It's under where it says sources in the description of this video or this podcast, so please give it a watch. But as you can hear, this is the most Latino performance ever. In fact, the only thing that would make this more Latino is if that woman who is screaming at him decided that she was going to hit him with the chancla or maybe pull out a pot or a pan and smack him across the face with it, because these people came lightly armed, lightly prepared, although they were more prepared than this criminal in order to take action, and that's exactly what went down. Now, I do want to make something clear for everybody out there in the audience, because to be real, even though this guy had an absolutely stellar description of him out there, he is a suspect. He has not been convicted of this, so we don't know for sure. It could be the other 5'5" Latino with dark hair, braces, and a boar tattoo on that side of his chest that was drawn in the police sketch exactly like the one that he was wearing. So as of right now, it's all alleged, and as somebody with the platform, I have to tell you, I am obligated to do so, that you should not engage in vigilante justice, that it is not a good thing, and that this guy was armed with the machete when he committed that other crime, so there is a chance that this could have been deadly for the people who were just trying to do good in this situation. I have to give you all of those caveats because I do have a platform, and even though I find this inspiring because it worked out in the end, the fact of the matter is it could have went wrong, it could have went south in multiple different ways, and I gotta give you those caveats. I gotta say those things. The YouTube gods are forcing me to do so let me be clear about that. However, and I do in fact mean how and then ever, this was amazing. Everything about this I absolutely love. The community coming together and rejecting this perpetrator was absolutely amazing in every possible way. And the fact that this person who tied up 2 teenagers, sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl, ended up getting tied up and beaten down by a bunch of Latinos and was essentially begging for the police to show up, I find to be cathartic. I find it to be a form of true justice. If maybe for a second, this illegal migrant, this child rapist, felt the terror, the horror, the fear that those 13-year-olds felt, specifically the girl who was assaulted by him, then I think that was worth it. I think that's something that he should take with him, and every day of his life, he should feel that terror. He should feel that horror, because that's what he inflicted on a complete innocent, and unlike those 2 teenagers, unlike that girl specifically, he 100% deserves this. He deserves worse, and to see him cower like the person that he actually is on the inside between those 2 cars is well deserved. Now, it doesn't undo the hurt. We still need an aggressive prosecution. We still need a lengthy punishment, but also we need to send his ass out of the country. An illegal migrant came into our nation and assaulted somebody right after school was dismissed in a very public park, and we're gonna pretend like this guy should have been here in the first place? Absolutely not. These Latinos have shown you that they will reject these criminal types, and we should pay respects to that community, pay respects to that victim, and deport his ass back to Ecuador where he belongs.
Police finally have a person of interest in custody that they are questioning down at the local precinct. This latest development comes after police released new surveillance images of that suspect seen on a bicycle riding down a sidewalk near the vicinity of the crime.
I mean, just think about how sickening and disgusting this is. This man came to this country. He broke our laws. He came here illegally. He specifically chose to go to New York City because New York City would provide him all sorts of welfare benefits, all sorts of perks, free meals, and all that. And in response to that gift paid for by the taxpayers, this is how he showed respect for the city of New York. This is how he showed respect for the opportunity to be in the greatest country in the history of the world. Absolutely not. Honestly, he deserves so much worse than this, so much more horrors to be inflicted upon him that I can't even speak to it because I've been courting and dancing around the age restrictions and the punishments and even a potential strike, and I don't want to go any further. So yeah, while I have to tell you that this kind of vigilantism is no bueno, while I have to tell you that it is alleged and there is a chance they could have went after the wrong person, the fact of the matter is, as of right now, his description lines up amazingly with the description of the suspect, and if it is found to be proven to be true that this is the guy, then I hope to hell that he gets worse in his life because he absolutely deserves it, because that 13-year-old is never going to be able to recover from the trauma of this incident. It is going to be something she takes with her for life, and the fact of the matter is, his suffering, his pain was only momentarily. It was only when he was being dragged and thrown between those 2 cars as he cowered. It's not something that he'll take with him, even though he should for the rest of his life. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. As usual, if you like the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on the social media, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about justice, albeit street justice, being inflicted on an absolute monster. Till next time.